Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday. It's a beautiful day here on the Gold Coast, and I'm going live from one of my favourite places, which is Hinterland Park. I really like it here because it's peaceful and quiet, and I can work out in the open. For some reason, I find it very relaxing and easy way to get those creative juices going rather than sitting at a desk. A desk is great for like step-by-step stuff, but when it comes to actually like planning PowerPoints or content or something like that, I find sitting out in nature makes a big difference to how I do it. So this morning I made a post about getting citations for your Google listing. Now, Google Maps is becoming really, really powerful and really important too. I think a lot of people don't realize quite how important it's become. If you really look at what Google's doing as far as controlling the homepage of search, they obviously have their paid listings at the top, and then they come straight into the map listings when you're looking at local businesses. So if you have a business and you have a place of business, you definitely must have a maps listing. Now, having a maps listing is just one aspect of it. There's a whole pile more that you need to do. But citations is probably one of the most important as you go forward, and that is basically putting the same information on a range of other sites instead of just putting it on Google. Google wants to cross-check everything, and so they're going to collect information from everywhere. And I put up the example this morning of Bright Local, which is a site that will allow you to submit your listings. And there's lots of others that do it as well. But it gives you a nice list of places in Australia where you can submit your listings. Now, you can do that manually, or you could hire someone through Fiverr or Upwork to do that for you. But personally, sometimes it's worth paying for the service. Bright Local is a tool that I have used in the past, and they were actually really good, but I haven't used them for this specific topic, actually doing the citations. That said, the list is really, really useful. So go there and have a look at the Australian listing of sites that you should be on. Obviously, you've got your usual, your Facebooks and your Twitters and those sorts of things. Make sure that everything there matches what's on your Google Maps listing. So where this can become a problem is like I've changed the name of my company. I used to be operating as Clickable, and now I've compiled everything under Mr. Web Marketing. But of course, I've got some stuff that says Clickable, some stuff that says Mr. Web Marketing, both at the same address, etc. So I'm in the process of actually cleaning up everything that I've got on there and making sure that all of mine matches for Mr. Web Marketing. So I'd suggest that, for you go and check your Google Maps listing first of all and make sure that you've got one. And if you haven't, you need one. And then secondly, start to work your way around, check your Facebook listing and check all the other sites. Most of those sites are free to list on. Some of them are hard to list on unless you can do it through a service. So Apple Maps, for example, can be quite difficult. So you may need to use a service to get listed for Apple Maps. But otherwise, my suggestion to you, is get stuck into this. It will pay off long term. Now, obviously, there's so much more to Google Maps, and it's changing all the time. One of the big things you see, Google's now offering a range of services through the Maps listing. So you'll be able to actually book, like if you're a hairdresser, people will be able to book a hairdressing appointment, and that will link through into your hairdressing software. And they're supporting something like 70 different booking tools. And some of those I know speakers and consultants use already to actually take online bookings for training. So you'll be able to integrate that into your listing. Now, it's not available everywhere yet, and a lot of these features, what they do is they filter through. So we see them, first of all, in America, where they run tests on them, and then eventually we get them in Australia. So it can be a little bit slower for us over here. But that doesn't mean it's not coming. The other thing is too the reviews. Getting reviews on your Google listing is really, really important, and there's a really simple link you can use to do that. And if you ask me, I'll find that specific piece of content and send it to you if I haven't already put it up. Basically, you just send that link to people, and it pops open a window over the top of your listing where they can just go, 5 stars or 1 star, whatever you've done right or wrong this week, and write a comment for you. I suggest you need to get as many of those as possible. So every time you do a job for somebody, every time you work with somebody, or you help them with something, ask them to go and write a review. Especially, for example, if you give somebody some of your time and you're advising them on what they could do, it seems only fair that in return for, if you're giving them free time, that they write a review for you. So get those done. Now, I've had a client ask me about getting those and should they get, paid listings or friends to do them. My thoughts on that is I wouldn't pay people to do the listing. But if you've got friends who you know in business who have worked with you or around you and known you for a while and how you work with clients, then I don't see a problem with having someone go and write a review, saying that, I've known them, I've worked with them, I've seen them do this. But whatever you do, don't send out a form letter for doing this. You don't want people to write the same comment. You want these to be honest and raw. Now, one of the things is when you do get these, make sure you go back and comment on them. Okay, so whether it's positive or negative, say thank you or say, oh, I'm so sorry, next time we'll do a better job. Don't ever get in an argument with somebody when they're writing reviews for you, because getting in an argument is only going to cause problems long term, and it makes you look like a fool because you start getting this stream of issues. Deal with it nicely and then move on. What you're aiming for is more positive reviews than negative reviews. And look, everybody gets negative reviews. We've all had bad jobs or hard jobs that we've done our best work for, but it just hasn't worked out. There's nothing we can do about that, okay? It's part of life. It doesn't always work what we do. So make sure you deal with them and move on and keep aiming for more positive reviews, because the way I see it, if you look at the hotel sites, for example, you see the reviews on those. One of the key elements is sometimes there's some really ugly ones. If someone gets an argument with that person, it shows, I suppose, a little bit of the personality of the person running the place or the staff member who's dealing with it. If you deal with it in a positive light and move on, it'll be seen as an anomaly by people. So they'll see it as an odd one rather than a common problem that people are experiencing, because they'll look at all the rest of the reviews and go, oh, obviously that person was having a bad day, or, it just didn't work out for them. So don't dwell on bad reviews, and you may not be able to remove them. That's the other thing. You can sometimes request they be removed if there's something really wrong, but realistically, you may not be able to do anything about it. So just deal with it. So yeah, get your citations right, get all those things in order. It's going to become more and more important. Google is taking over more of its own homepage. It wants to control everything and always has. So while I'm a huge fan of organic search and getting long tail search, so that is, the longer phrases such as, how do you do such and such, or where do I find that, or why does this happen? For the major keyword phrases like plumber Sydney, it's going to become more and more difficult to get organic listings. You'll be able to obviously buy them through pay-per-click, but the organic ones are going to become less and less achievable. So I like to, look at SEO and pay-per-click as tools, a framework that we use. So, we use this to get over the top of that. We use this to pick up all that extra traffic over there. We use social to back up afterwards, in the education side of things, so that everything fits together. Now, SEO is worth a lot of business to you. Where, as I said, it becomes a little bit more difficult is, when you're in something like plumber Sydney, where you've got thousands and thousands of them competing, and Google just wants to take over the whole homepage. So, as I said before, and you'll see this in the course, niching down to your suburb, and that helps with those sorts of things. But making sure you've got your map listing done is going to be super important. If you can get the reviews, you can get your citations. If you can get all those sorts of things right, add regular posts. That's another thing that's coming in, is that it's actually a service I've seen sold overseas where people are paying to have someone write regular posts and updates for their Google listing. Now, I've already started doing this, and I'm encouraging my clients to do this as well. But overseas, it's evolved even further than where it is now, because it's like a verified listing with the ongoing posts. So it's another level above what I've seen in Australia, but it's definitely going on. So it'll almost be like a mini site, that maps listing. So get ahead of the curve, get ahead of your competition, and start to build that up. So look, that brings me to the end of today. It's Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. Continue on with the course. Don't, lay off. Remember, each section, you've got to watch the video. The videos are tracked. So, you must watch 90% before it'll unlock the next section, which automatically unlocks weekly. But if you haven't watched the video before, you can't move on. Okay. And I've had some people kind of say, well, why don't you unlock it all? Well, it's the teacher in me. You're paying me to teach you and to help you succeed online. So if I have to force you to watch the video, then that's what I'll do to make sure that you get the information. Now, I'm adding all the transcriptions as well. They're all going online as they're being completed. So you'll also be able to download them, review those, and the checklists will be following as well to go with those and make sure that you've got the main points that you need to cover and the activity that goes with those. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you live again soon.